Here we go. The Premier, I don't even know if I'm going to say this right, Chamonix. We are going to be making a, I'm going to call it the Rainbow Muff, but, yes, so, alright, so as you know, we're using the Premier Chamonix, and it is the colorway Misty Gray. It's from Premier Yarns. No, they are not affiliated with this. I am just using their yarn. I hope to be affiliated with them someday. But it is a fine 2. It calls for a D hook. This seems to be 2. But for all intents and purposes, I am going to be using, if I can get it out of there, a G hook. It's a 4.0. We'll need scissors and possibly a yarn needle, which I forgot to take out, but let's do that now. Yarn needle, any size will do. And last but not least, and the most important that we will need, is patience. Okay, so here we go. So hopefully I will stay into camera view, but we're going to start off with a slip knot. Any way you choose to make one, this is how I do mine. Alrighty. Okay. Now we are going to, just looking at my notes here, with this type of yarn and thinness, we are going to chain 44. So I'm only going to do a couple and then pause it, and then I'll meet you back, because I don't think you want to watch me do 44 chains. Okay, so one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's 10 chains, and I will meet you back up when we have 44. Okay, I'm at 40, 41. I want to show you how loose I'm making these. That way it's easier when I have to join them. 41, 42, 43, and 44. Oh, this yarn just slides like butter. Okay, so without twisting, I always have a problem with this. Always. We are going to slip stitch to join into the beginning. Let's come down a little further. Into the beginning stitch. Just like that. Okay. We'll grab this. We'll come back up. Okay. And slip stitch to join. Now, as you can see, I'm not letting go yet, because I want to remember where the slip stitch was, and you'll understand why right now. So we just formed the ring, and then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in each of the chains around. So there was the beginning. Now I can see where my first chain is, and at the end we're going to have 44 stitches. So there's 1, and as I'm going, I'm crocheting over my tail. 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm trying to stay in camera view for you, so it's a little awkward since I have it right in front. But here's 5, and I will meet you. I'm going to pause it right here. I will keep going around with 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so I just finished number 44, and I'm going to be cutting off this beginning yarn as I crocheted it into the sorry, dog dropped her bone. As I crocheted into the stitches. So now we are going to slip stitch. I'm going to bring you down a little bit into this first one right here. Okay. Now while I'm still holding it, it's only for my own personal use. I should have grabbed this before. Stitch marker. Just to mark off where the stitch begins. Now, believe me, you'll know as you go around. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. I didn't want to let go. I still don't want to let go. Okay. That's for my own personal. You do not have to use a stitch marker. But I'm trying to get into the habit of using the stitch markers. So, okay. So now you should have 44 stitches around. Now we're going to begin row 2. Now, always at the beginning, so it's always going to be this stitch going all the way up. It's a beginning popcorn stitch. Now this is how we work the popcorn stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and I'm going to go slow for you, 3. Okay, easy enough, right? Okay. Now, in the same stitch, we're going to do 4 double crochets in the same stitch. This will count as a stitch, these chain 3s. So we go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So technically we have 2 now. So we want 5 in total. We need 3 more. Okay, there's 4. And 5. Now here comes the fun part. Pull the loop up, hold it with these fingers, take your hook out. Now you're going to go into this first one, which it would be your chain on the beginning. Then you're going to put your hook back into this loop, pull it a little tight, Now I put my finger here like this to pull it out, and we're going to take this loop and slip stitch it into this one. Boink. Just like that. And then to lock it in place, we chain 1. And that's it. You just made a beginning popcorn stitch. Ta-da! Now on this next one, we're going to do 1 double crochet. There you go. And then this one here is a regular popcorn stitch, which is 5 double crochets into the same stitch. Since it's not the beginning, we're not doing the chain 3. So I will do 1 more with you, and then I will meet you back at the beginning to work on the last one. So we do 5 double crochets. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let me just pull some yarn here. Okay, pull up the loop a little bit and hold on to it with your fingers. Now, remember we had a popcorn here. Oops, sorry about that. And then a single double crochet. And that's how you can find the beginning. Or you just count your stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you insert your hook. Put it back in again from the first loop. Pull it a little with your finger. Slip stitch it into the beginning. And chain 1 to lock it. There you go. And then the next one was 1 double crochet. Just like that. Just like that. See? It wasn't so hard, was it? Alright, so continue on with just that. Where you do popcorn, 1 double crochet, popcorn, 1 double crochet, all the way around, and I will meet you back here to do the last set. Okay, so what I did is I went back and I added the enchant yarn. I'm going to show you, but it's bright. Okay, so then this is how it is working up. Just gives it a little extra bling. You do not have to add it. But now, there's the stitch marker. So it's showing our first stitch. Just checking my notes here. I'm sorry. So now we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. So right here, if I can get it in there. And then we slip stitch. And that is the beginning of the muff. Right there. Okay, now on to row 3. Okay, so now we're going to start row 3, and we start with a chain of 1, and we're going to single crochet. Let me just bring this in a little bit. Alright, we're going to single crochet into each stitch around. So we have the stitch marker and we're putting right in there. Okay, then we're going to single crochet into the top of the popcorn stitch. Okay, here's the top. There's the double crochet next to it. We're going to make sure you're right on top of the popcorn stitch. Okay, and then you see the double crochet. This one's easy, so we single crochet in there. Now you're going to see the opening right next to it, right here. We're going to go into right on top. So don't get confused with that one. I mean, you can, and then you just have to reach over and grab the double crocheted spot. Just like that. Okay, so continue along doing just like that. One in double crochet, one on top, and I will meet you right back at the beginning. Okay, we have the slip stitch to join over here because we just did our last single crochet. So we're going to go on top. And we joined. Okay, so now we have row 4. Which is a repeat. Rows 4 through 17 are a repeat of rounds 2 and 3. So I will do it again. We're at the beginning, so 1, 2, 3. Four double crochets in the same stitch. Three and 4, and the chain 3 counts as a stitch. Let me just pull some yarn here. Okay, and pull the loop, come over to this first one, go back into the loop. Chain 1, and then we're 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and we just repeat that. One, two, 3, 4, 5, hold the loop, always in the beginning I have a hard time seeing it, and the dogs are playing, so I apologize. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here's the single, and this is the beginning of the 5. And we go back into these loops, hold that, pull, chain 1. Alright, so we made 5 double crochets into this one stitch beside the single double crochet, and we're going to pull this through, and then we're going to chain 1 to lock it into place, and then the next stitch would be the double crochet, and then the popcorn stitch and double crochet all the way around. Now this was row 4, and we're going to continue to repeat rounds 2 and 3 to round 17. So 1 is the popcorns, and then 1 round is with the single crochets. And I'll meet you back here on round 17. Okay, so we actually came to round 20. That's including the row of single crochets in the middle. So counting up, I just finished round 20. You go to row 17 if you have thicker yarn. Okay, so now we're just going to fasten off. So I slip stitch into a couple of the stitches here. Then I chain 1, pull it up, and cut, and pull, and then I'll take the needle and thread this through along here, or wait for part 2, and then we could just crochet it into the rim. Alright, so now onto the inner piece. You could leave it like this. I'm going to raise it up a little. You could leave it like this. I know it's a little, but no, not today. We're not. Alright, so now, like I said, I have all these sequins now all over. Alright, so let's get started with the inner piece. Grab your yarn, your hook, and your scissors nearby, and we can get started. So I'm trying to keep it out of camera view because it is so bright in the camera. But because we are doing the inner piece, I am not going to use the enchanted anymore. We're going to move that to the side because, as you saw, it was just for the outside, and it gives it just enough bling when I mixed it. But I'm just going to do the inner piece with just this. So it's not that bad. Yeah, I thought it was going to be scratchy. Nope. Okay. So here we go. And it's sticking to me. So we're going to slip that right there. Insert the hook. Now for this one, we're going to chain another 44, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first chain to form a ring. But I don't know about you, but I have trouble with the rings, joining them. So I'm going to chain 44, and then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet in every stitch going back, and then I'm going to join. It just makes it easier. I don't know about you, but alright, so row 1 of the inner piece is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's 10, and I will meet you at the end of the 44 chains, because I don't think you want to watch me do all these chains. Alright, be right back. Okay, so I just made the chain of 44, and as I was making the 44th chain, I realized, yeah, even though we're supposed to join it with this slip stitch over here, and I said I was going to wait a row and then use slip stitch to join, but I'm going to wait a row, and I need to get from this row to the second row. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain one more, so it's 45. That's basically going to be a dud stitch. There we go. Focus, please. Thank you. So that's 45. So we're going to go into 44 here with a single. Where are you? Okay. Sorry. We're going into 44 with a single crochet, and that fake stitch counts as your chain 1. And we'll move over and single crochet. Whoops. Helps if I'm in camera view, huh? I'm not at my usual spot. I'm usually on that side of the desk. Okay. And single crochet. There we go. I'll do one more. And then I'm going to pause it, and you can pause it, and then we will meet back when we get to the end of the 44 single crochets. Okie dokie. And now we're on the 44th stitch here. Okay. Okay. So now we have to form a ring. So I'm going to pull this up. I'm always afraid it's going to turn. How about you? You have that problem as well? He was like running away from me. I promise it's really not that hard. It's just my fingers do not want to cooperate. So we insert into the top over here, and then we slip stitch it, and now we have our ring. Now later on when we're done, we could take this beginning tail and we could just tie it together. So now onto round 2. That would be where we chain 1, and we're going to again single crochet into every stitch around and join. When we come back around here, we're going to join up at the top of this chain 1. Okay, so now we're going to do, I'm going to do part of round 2 with you, and then I'm going to pause it along with you, and I will meet you, because we are going to go to round 25 of doing exactly that same thing. Chain 1 and 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Okay, so there was the chain 1. I'm going to single crochet into that same stitch and come down. Sorry about that. And we're going to single crochet and then 1 single crochet into the next, and so on and so on. Alrighty. So pause it here, and then I will meet you back around at the end of round 2 so we could join it together, and then we're going to pause it and we're going to continue this, a repeat of round 2 until we reach row 25. Okay, so we're going to do our last stitch right here. Yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to slip stitch to join this first stitch from earlier. Alright, so that it was round 2, so we're going to chain 1, and we're going to continue to do 1 single crochet in every stitch around until we reach row 25. Okay, so when you had the thicker yarn, you're going to be going up to row 25, but with this thin yarn I went up to row 32. Right now I am just getting this small yarn that I can barely see onto the needle, and I'm just going to close off that beginning join that I did. Okay, we'll just move that so it's right on the seam, and I'm just going to grab it. Doesn't have to be pretty, and I'm just going to thread it through and close it up, and that's all. Now, just to lock it into place on the seam here, I'm just going to weave it in and out in one direction, and then I'm going to come around in different stitches on the seam and go back down. So we just go up one way, and then we're going to lock it in place and go back down. Right on the seam there. Okay, I'll pull that through, and then I'm gonna a little strand that was caught. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the scissors here. Sorry, and I'm gonna cut off this extra thread. Boink. All right, so we went up to row 32. Now here comes the fun part. Okay, so we have 32 rows here. It is to match the size of the original piece with that has the popcorn stitch. Let me just get this in close for you. Alright, so we're just going to do a slip stitch here in just a couple of the stitches. Sorry, dogs playing and they're walking by. They just know when I start to record. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull off a long tail. I mean, not tremendously long, but because we have to put the two pieces together. So I have a little bit of a tail here. Then there we go. Okay, so I just got a little bit of a tail, and I'm going to cut it and pull it through to make a little knot and lock it into place. Nope, this one. There we go. Okay, pull it to lock it in. Just don't pull it too hard where you break the yarn. Alright, now I'm stretching it out on purpose because I want to make sure that it fits inside the first piece. And we'll stretch it long ways and vertical, horizontal. Alright, so that's as much as I can get it stretched. Let me move this camera up so you can see hopefully a better view of what I'm trying to do. So we have this part here, right? Now we want to insert the second piece in. I have a straggler here. Alright, I'm just going to weave this in real quick. I got stuck on one of those sequins. But just like before, I'm just going to weave it in and out, forward and backwards, so we can lock it into place. It'll just take a moment. Okay, now we're going to go back up to double lock it in place. Alright, I'm just going to cut off the extra right here. Throw that out. Now we're going to take the insert and put it inside. It's so exciting. Alright, so I'm going to match it up a little bit, just as long as it's close to the edge here. Alright, insert my hook, and I'm just going to chain up one, but I'm going through both sides over here because we're going to be sealing up. Let me get a little closer for you. Okay, so we're just going to slip stitch to grab this yarn here. There we go, in that one. Alright, now let's make sure I have both. So we're going to chain one, and we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch around, except we're going to be leaving a 2-inch opening anywhere you want in this. I put it on the bottom, and I'll explain later as to why, but we just do one single crochet in both sides to lock them in place, just like that. Okay, go in through the stitch, go through the other side, there There it is, right there. Yeah. And do the single crochet. And we just keep going. Nope, nope. I wanted to do a slip stitch there for some reason. Alright, we'll just make that a little tighter. Alright, so we're going to do single crochet around until we get to right about here. And we're going to leave about a 2-inch opening. Right here. So when we get to it, we're going to single crochet on just one side. And then we're going to attach it. We end there, and then we're going to attach it on the other side. Alright. Just trying to get into frame here. Okay. Alright, so now this is going to be the opening. Now 2 inches is a pretty good size. If you want 1.5 inches, that's okay too. This is so you can slide a hand warmer inside them if you want the extra warmth. Nobody's going to be the wiser as that you have it in there. Okay, so just on one side we're going to do single crochets. We're not connecting the two because we're leaving the 2-inch opening space so we can insert the hand warmer. Now I have it open on the bottom, that way when you have your hands in there it's less likely to fall out. Alright. It's your choice how many stitches you want to keep it open for, but I'm going to go backwards here so I can show you how to close it off with both sides now, as to leave that one open. I'm running out of yarn. I'm going to have to add some there. Alright, so do one more. Alright, let me just add some yarn here. I'll be right back. Alright, so now we're going to be connecting the two sides here. And I'm going backwards so you can see it in the camera. But we're just going to do a regular... Okay, fingers won't work. I'll get it, don't worry. Okay. So, and we're just going to slip stitch it, but we're going to... yeah, there we go. I got it back to normal. We're going to go back into the... Nope, I'm sorry, the next stitch here. And continue on with the single crochets. And there's our 2-inch opening. Alright. So we're going to continue around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. And we're going to have one single crochet in every stitch. Alright, so we're back to the beginning, and we're just going to slip stitch, do one more, and then we're going to slip stitch to join it. Okay. Okay. So we're going to chain one, Now we're going to do round 2, and it's the same thing, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. But when we get to this, since we did the other side, we're going to do the single crochets on this side now. That way it still remains as one, and then we're going to continue on normally over here. Okay, so we just like before, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. Alright, I'll just do a couple with you. Let's make sure it's going through both the outside and the insert. And, well, I'm sorry, since it's the second row, just make sure it has both of them, even though you're going through this first row. And we're just going to continue around like that. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Alright, and I'll meet you up here. Okay, so now we're at the opening here. Gonna do the last. Come on, fingers, work. Okay, I'm gonna do the last stitch here on the outside. Alright, now we have that one, but we want to put a row on this side. And it doesn't have to be too fancy. Just try to get one in each of the stitches going around. If you have to put 2 in some of them, that's okay too. Just like that. We're coming to the end here. Sorry, dogs are eating their dinner now, so you're gonna hear crunching. Oh, sorry, my microphone dropped. Sorry. Okay. So we're back to doing both sides. That first one is going to be a little tight, but then we just continue on. We put 1 single crochet in every stitch going around, and then I'll meet you. Let's pause it, and I'll meet you back up here at the beginning. Okay. And we're just gonna slip stitch to join the row, just like that. And we still have the opening here. We have a nice little border. There we go. Yep, it's all sealed. Okay. So now, I'm just double checking. We're just going to slip stitch into a few of these to make sure it gets locked into place. And then we are going to fasten off. So pull the yarn a little bit, grab the scissors, and cut the yarn. Pull through, pull it, make sure it's tight, just don't break the yarn. And then we can thread that in. We can thread that in. And just like before, you weave it in and out, reversing the way you go at times. One way, in, out, in, out. That should be enough right there. Sorry, blocked the camera view right there. Stretch it. And we go back and do the same thing. In a few different stitches. But pull it. Okay, and then we just cut this yarn, the extra yarn, and we're good to go. Just like that. Alright, so now we're going to do the other side. We're going to connect it to the insert. Where'd it go? There it is. We're going to stretch it up a little bit. We're not making an opening on this side, but we're going to do the same exact thing as the other side. Connect your yarn and then do 2 rows of single crochet, and then once you have that done, I will meet you back here and I'll do the first connection with you, and then I will pause it, and then you can pause it, and I will meet you back here when you finish your second row. But like I said, we are not having the opening on this side. We're going to close it completely. Okay, get through there, and a slip stitch, and then chain 1 to lock it in. And then we'll do the single crochet in the same stitch. Make sure it's going through both. Alright, so I will meet you back at the end of the second row of the single crochets. Okay, so I'm at the end here, and I'm just snipping the yarn to fasten it off. This was after the 2 rows of single crochet on the other side, not leaving that extra 2-inch opening. This side is completely sealed. And we're just gonna weave in this thread here. Just get it straightened out. Okay. I'm just gonna weave it in and out. One direction, and then the other. Back and forth. Don't we all just love weaving in ends? I sound so thrilled, don't I? Back and forth. But don't fret, we are almost done. And there goes my phone again. And cut off the extra. Okay. So now, let's get a better view of this. This was the yarn, in case you forgot what I was using. But that is it. That is our... It's called the rainbow muff, but I didn't put it in the rainbow yarn. Yeah, it's pretty warm, actually. That's how it looks on the side. Here's the opening, and I'll show you. This side has no openings, but in case you do not know, this, where's the opening? No. I'll show you at the end what I mean. But let's make the neck chain. And this one's pretty simple. It'll take you not even 5 minutes. Now I'm leaving a long tail because we're going to use it to attach to our project. And we make a slip knot. Yeah, that should be long enough. Okay. Now we are going to make a chain of 101. Now I'm not gonna make you watch me do 101 of them, but yeah. So we're gonna do 101, and I will meet you back here. Pause the video, and I'll meet you back when we're at the 101. Ta-da! We're here. That was quick. Alright, so we are going to do a half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Just bring it a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. Just in case you don't know what a half double crochet is. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, let's do that again. Yarn over. Put your hook in through the stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Now we are going to do this in every stitch until we reach the end. I'll do one more or 2. Alright, and then pull through. Alright, so we're going to do 1 half double crochet all the way to the end. You should have 100 stitches now. Okay, and I'll meet you at the end. Hey, look, we're at the end. So this is our last stitch. We're going to yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. That is a half double crochet. We'll chain 1, chain 2, and we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go into the same stitch as these chains and do the half double crochet, and again 1 half double crochet in each stitch to the end, and then we're going to leave a long tail and fasten off just like we did on this side in the beginning. Okay, just like that, and that's what it's going to look like, a little nice and neat. Row 1, row 2, and we're going to go all the way to the end. Alright, I'll meet you back up there. Ta-da! We're at the end. Magic! Alright, so I was going to do the last couple with you. If my fingers want to cooperate, and if the yarn behaves. Okay. And we're just about at the end. Alright, and I have one last stitch here. And then we are almost done. Not bad, right? Okay, so we're going to chain 1. We're going to make a long tail, long-ish, because we're going to use that to attach this side to the project. Okay, cut the yarn, pull it through, make it tight, stretch it back out. There we go. Okay, and now the fun part. My son is playing video games, so you might hear him screaming. But let's make sure that this is straight with no tangles. And we're going to attach it with our darning needle. Okay. Just like that. Alright, so the opening was right here, and we wanted that on the bottom. Okay. And now the dogs want to play. So this opening is on the bottom. Oh my. Alright, so the ducks just keep going nuts. But this is where we're going to attach the handle. Okay. So we're just going to attach it right here on the opposite side of that mini opening. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just make sure it goes through both sides. And I pull it over, through, and then over, through. I'm not even sure what this stitch is called, but this is how it's going to be attached. Okay. And then make sure it's going through both again. And this is the same thing that we're going to do on the other side as well. Alright. Now we got this little V thing happening here. So I'm going to do one more just to make it more closed. Okay. Now obviously it's not going to hold a brick building or anything, but you know, it will be strong enough to hold your hands in there. You know, just don't pull on it and whatnot, but we're just going to thread this through a couple times back and forth again. Just like that. And then weave it in and out, going this way. And just like that. Okay. And we're just going to cut this extra thread off. Let me get closer. There we go. Alright. Now just make sure that your strap is not tangled. Keep it straight. That's only on the one side. And we're going to keep it straight and attach it to the other side in the same fashion. Okay, we'll just move that over. All right. Maybe it's called a mattress stitch. I'm not sure. Or no, whip stitch. That's it. I think that's what it's called, is a whip stitch. All right, and then we pull it over. Go through that one. Go through that one. And we just have a few more to do. We have this little V happening again. Just make that a little tighter closed so it's flat. There we go. And then we're just going to weave it back and forth just like last time. Oh. Okay, we'll go this way. See if I can stay out of camera view this time. go back over here to lock it in. Alrighty. Pull it. Stretch it out and grab the scissors and cut it again. And I cut it a little too far. Let's get a little closer. There we go. Alright, and we are done. Not bad, right? And that's that. From the outside it looks like a pocketbook or a little purse. But what we're going to do, there's our strap for our neck, and what we're going to do is we get the hot hands, we fold it up. Well, I have the big one here, so I'm folding it up. I'm just showing you what to do with this little extra secret. Open it up, activate your hot hands, put it in, and you are toasty warm in there. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know in the comments below how yours came out. Alright, take care. Bye.